One of the key issues, I think, is focusing on funding, continued funding for schools of social work, as we are the largest provider of social work education and promoting research-informed practice as part of social work training in universities.
Well, I think the most important thing to recognise is that social work is a vast profession working across a whole range of different contexts. So it can't be down to any one organisation or any one leader or any one network to affect positive change across the whole of the social work profession. It takes a joint collaborative effort. There aren't many quick wins in trying to affect positive change in social work, but there are certainly some things that we can do and can do together quite quickly. And that might be things like the external perception of social work in the media and how we work together to change some of that, some of the research that we can do together to fill any gaps in data that might lead us to make some better informed decisions about the workforce. And all of us coming together, as we've done today here in the Social Work England office in Sheffield, to really think through as sector leaders, what are the things that we can together put in place that will really make a difference to the lives of hardworking social workers across the country every day? And how can we look to what happens in other industries, in other organisations, internationally, to draw on learning and best practice from elsewhere? So there's lots of opportunities for positive change, but we have to do it together.
Social work is a very dispersed profession. We register just short of 104,000 social workers, and they work in all sorts of different areas and different environments across England. So there's no one solution, there's no one thing that will change the environment for every single social worker. So what we have to do is work collaboratively. There are many people who have leadership roles in social work, and I think that leadership needs to come together and work in a way that's recognisable towards a vision that all social workers can agree is the right direction for them. That will take time and it will take effort, but I think it's one of the key ways that change can be affected across the piece. Partnership, collaborative work.
So I think broadly there are three areas that we need to consider. We need to look at recruitment, we need to look at support around how do we retain and encourage professional development, and we also need to recognise the financial challenges that the system is in. Fundamentally, those financial challenges often can mean that our workforce can feel that they are doing complex cases, working with individuals, trying to provide the best support, and their remuneration and reward package may not be as beneficial compared with other areas. The professional development and the environment that we work in, I think, is fascinating. There is more that we can do and learn from the best to ensure that we are training and encouraging the leaders of tomorrow and people to step into our own shoes. It's the working conditions are difficult. They do need tackling. People can feel that they are dealing with large numbers of cases and in effect being asked to become case managers as opposed to social workers, and the way that we support that admin and the efficiency of that can be improved.
I think one of the things we need to look at is well-being and the way in which we supervise social workers, moving away from a sort of more management style of supervision to a much more reflective, critical thinking type supervision, but also one that includes a well-being, a properly addressed well-being at both the beginning and the end of every supervision session.
I think there are so many issues in social work that are important. It's really difficult to find one that's the most important one. But one of the things that I think is really important is to think about the impact of digital on both our practice and our lives. And so we understand what skills people need to work in a digital framework, and also understand how young people communicate digitally together, so that we can work with them in a way that really meets their needs and help them and support them in ways and understanding digital as part of their lives and integral to their lives in a way that it probably isn't for those of us who are a bit older.
So I think the key to addressing social work workforce issues is around recruiting a range of diverse individuals to come into social work. So mature students, people with lived experience, people from diverse communities that are supported to work in the areas that they live in. I think that's really crucial. I think for me, something around really preparing social workers when they're coming to the end of their social work course around resilience and professionalism, and really thinking about some of the cultures of the organisations we work in. So what sort of support are we offering social workers to stay in their posts? What sort of continuous professional development is available? I think we also need to think about social work leadership. So how do we nurture talent within organisations and give people the right support to become leaders in social work? So I think there's a huge amount to be done, but I think it's possible. For me personally, working in an NHS environment, I think it's really important for social workers to have a really secure sense of identity in their social work roles, particularly working in a medical setting and with other multi-professionals.
I think the biggest impact that we can make is by all coming together and having a shared and joint social work strategy. The biggest impact comes from us all making changes in our own space and trying to pull that all in the same direction. And the headings that we would all focus on, attract and retain and transform and reform, feel like something we can all galvanise around, so that what we're building is the social work workforce of the future.